what's up gamers, this is NGG here with another review. This time it is for Final Fantasy II on the Pixel Remastered. I live streamed this game with you guys and beat it at the end of 2023. So I just want to talk to you guys about the game, the story, the gameplay, what I felt in my ratings about this game. I use this guide exclusively to play this game so that I can play it with you and not get lost. And even in using the guide, I got lost. So this game is a very old school, traditional RPG in that way. You weren't told a lot of things and you had to figure a lot out. But we'll get in that in gameplay. So let's talk about the story of Final Fantasy II. So you start off the game with picking out names for your 4 characters. You have 3 guys and 1 girl, and you name them all, and you start off the game where the world looks peaceful, but immediately the Emperor is trying to take over the world. He's raising demons from hell to take over the world and kill everybody. There is like a rebel army that's trying to stop him, but they are immediately squashed but under his might, and they have to flee their castle in order to save themselves. So you guys, the characters that you name are a couple of youths that have gotten their become orphans because their families were killed by the Emperor in his attacks on these towns, and you want to become part of the rebel army. One of the 3 of you guys is missing, and so initially you want to become part of the army to save your friend who is now missing because he's part of the 4 of you guys. And so the princess, who is the leader of the rebel army, says no, that you can't, but she does allow you to leave the rebel base in order to go find your friend. She's not gonna let you join her army, but she will let you go off on an adventure to find your friend. And you immediately find that task is going to be difficult. There are Emperor troops all over the way. They have battleships and Dark Knight and everything in your way to stop you from finding your friend, which has gone missing. So unfortunately, you're not able to find your friend immediately. You go back to the castle, and after a while she sees your potential and how great you guys battle as a group, and she does allow you to join the rebel army. She sets you on a bunch of quests, and you have to do a lot of these quests. You do meet a lot of different NPC characters. Well, they're not NPCs because you get to play with them. They get in your party and you get to meet a bunch of characters along your way. Somebody who is trying to save his village. I think his name is Joseph. You meet a pirate. You also get to have her like white mage. She's like a really strong magic user in your in her league that goes along with you on your adventures to try to thwart the Empire and bring it down to its knees, because unfortunately they have tried they are raging. They're using their flying battleship to tear down these cities and burn them down, and you are the last of the remaining forces trying to stop the Empire. So that's the story in a nutshell. Very interesting story, lots of interesting characters. I quite enjoyed the story for what it was. This is my first time ever playing a Final Fantasy II, guys, just so you are aware, and I found the story to be quite enjoyable for its time, right? I also know that this story is not going to be super deep because games back then weren't that deep. They were harder to build on like now. So for its time, it was a great story. Now let's get into gameplay, because gameplay is where a lot of fans had a problem with this game. So I'm gonna say I put on boost. I didn't boost myself up all the way because I still wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge. So I put boost times 2, but I did put like the HP gain to gain automatically. Like there's a function piece for that. And unbeknownst to me, that's where a lot of fans were having a problem with the gameplay in the original, where you had to have people hit you, because how the level system works in this game, it's not just random battles and you level up all your stats. You level up the stats you use. So like, in order to like level up your HP, well, somebody's got to hit you for you to gain HP. In the past, in this one, there's a little bit of a level HP thing that helps you boost that up, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. Because I hear in the past that they had to have people, their own party, attack their own party just to get their HP up. Unfortunately for me, that wasn't a thing I had to experience. The other aspect of the game is like, you got to use the magic to have the magic stronger, right? So if I want my thunder to be strong, I've got to use my thunder. I've got to use those skills. So I do like that whatever skill you use is the one that will gain. So if you want to have all knights, which I don't suggest, like all fighting people, then just have all people fighting. I had a fighter and like my fighter was my magic user. My white mage is at one point as well. She was the only female in the game, was my like fighter and magic user at the same time. So I did appreciate that. There was also the mechanic where you had random characters come into your party, which I actually enjoyed, because we're looking for our fourth person, right? So the whole time we're looking for our fourth person, we have an available slot for a random person to take over. So every time you go into a new town or a new chapter in the game, so to speak, you are finding a new character that's gonna join your party. And all I'll say is, don't get attached to these characters, because they will be in and out of your party. They won't stay very long. The strategy guide lists them as chapters, so basically every chapter or chapter and a half, the NPCs, I mean not the NPCs, the extra characters that are in your party are gone. So don't get attached to any of your characters, extra characters other than your main characters, because that will be a thing that they're going to be missing. So when it comes to going through the story parts of this game, I will say you should, if you don't want to have to look it up, talk to every NPC before and after events happen, because they will move your story along, right? So if you forget to speak to one person can trigger the next thing to go, and it could sometimes even be a random NPC that you don't know, or that random NPCs will tell you where to go, but you need to trigger these events. And if you don't talk to everybody every stinking time, you will be lost. There was a point, even with the strategy guide, that I was, well, before I started really mainly using the strategy guide, that I was super lost, super lost. And then I had to go back and read the strategy guide and find out where I was lost and what I was supposed to do. And it was that I didn't speak to an NPC in a town, so I had to go run back to that town and speak to that NPC in order to progress the story along. And with the world map, I do like that you can kind of get everywhere, almost everywhere, using the world map and walking. It's a trek, and I wouldn't want to do it all the time. They have like different towns have boats or airships that'll move you along, but if you don't want to use the boats, or you don't have access to the airships because they're left in a place that you left them far away, you can still walk to most of your places. It's just gonna be a trek. And with the Pixel Remaster, you can turn off encounters if you want. I typically left the encounters on until like I was really low on HP, and then I would turn off the encounters, heal at a town until I got to where I was going. But I definitely enjoyed the Pixel Remaster, being able to turn off encounters so I can get to some place safe to save or heal up. I will tell you that some of these boss battles are super hard, and especially the final boss. I was supposed to have a specific item that I did not have. And I didn't know I was supposed to have that item when going to encounter, and I didn't find the character. Like I read the strategy guide very sparingly, so I didn't read like where to go. I only used the strategy guide when I was stuck in the game, and so I didn't know I needed a special sword and that I didn't have at the end of the game equipped. I don't even know if I had it in my inventory. It didn't look like I had it in my inventory, so I didn't have it equipped. And that was hell to beat the final boss like that, because the final boss does this thing where and this, I'm not gonna tell you who the boss is or what's going on, so if your spoilers on how to fight the boss is a thing that you don't want to worry about, you can skip ahead, and I'll put in the description below where to skip to for the ratings. So in the final boss, he does this thing where he will drain you and heal himself. So because I didn't have that specialty item, that specialty sword that I needed, and I only found that while I was streaming it, guys, because somebody mentioned it to me, I had to keep my characters low in health. I had to keep them really low in health so that he couldn't suck so much life out of me, and that I could I had one character constantly reviving people, one character using my main attack, like my main female character, she was the one who had like Ultima, and so she was doing Ultima on him, which was doing chip damage. I was literally chip damaging this boss until the boss was done, because I didn't get the item. So if you don't want to have to struggle bust like I did at the end, and I do have a video, the last episode on the stream is me struggle bossing that battle, so if you want to see it, it's there. It'll be in the playlist, and you can just click on the last and you can see me struggle bossing the boss, which I did. So if you don't want to struggle bust that boss, I don't know where to find the sword because I never looked it up after I beat the game, because there was no need. So yeah, that is it for gameplay. I really quite enjoyed the gameplay. I'm sure back in the day I would have hated this game, but because of the quality of life stuff that they added, I didn't hate the game. The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is a rating for this game. So because it's an older Final Fantasy, I am gonna give it a little leeway, right? I'm not gonna rate it like I would rate current day games, because it's not a current day game. Like, I'm not expecting like a huge story, even though I did have a good story. I'm not expecting a overly vast and complicated story, because I know that wasn't the time it came out. I'm gonna give this game a rating of 4 because I quite enjoyed it. I like the story, I like the characters. I didn't like that my final character came in at the end and we were supposed to just appreciate the fact that they were there, and like miss them, because I didn't have any ties to them, even though I know technically that missing character was my female character's brother. I had no sort of attachment to him, right? Because he was missing the whole game. But I quite enjoyed the story. Definitely play with a guide if you can. I have my old guide from my PlayStation game and it worked out just fine. I wish they would have done a strategy guide for these pixel remasters. It would have been a beefy strategy guide, I understand, because this is 6 games, but at least I have something to go along with the game when I got stuck, or you'd have to look it up. But again, 4 for this game. I hope you guys give these pixel remasters and older Final Fantasy games a try. If you're here this late in the video, obviously you enjoyed the content, so please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And happy gaming, guys. Bye.